So you're joining us here today at Stickney Brick Pit in Lincolnshire. It's a members water, however you can book lake exclusives, and that's what we've done here today for an in-session film with Subcarp. A bit of background into the lake. It's roughly, I'd say maybe 5 acres in size. Probably got a stock of around maybe 100 fish. It's got a good mix of some old originals that are mid-30s, a few scraper 30s, some really nice old scaly dark fish, along with a lot of stocked fish that James, the lake owner, has either hand-picked or he's grown on himself from spawn in the lake. So every fish that's in here has been hand-selected by the owner. Massive variety of fish. Also there's quite a large stock of tench, pike, all the other stuff like that. But we're here today, basically a little in-session film to run you through how to approach a lake exclusive. James, the lake owner, he does let 6 anglers on maximum at one time. I think there is roughly 13 pegs, maybe 14 pegs, so there is like a good scope to move if you didn't get any peg that you wanted. I have been on lake exclusives with 6 in the past, and I feel like it is a bit too much. With every angler fishing 3 lines, it is a bit crowded. So we took the decision to just bring 3 of us down today, all with varying knowledge of the lake. So myself, I've been a member now for maybe 2 or 3 years. I've had quite a lot of the stock, I know it quite well. I've got some good spots going over the past, and then we've got Taylor, who's down with us. He's recently joined. I think he's done maybe 7 or 8 nights now. He's just finding his way, finding his own spots, doing his own thing, how he approaches the lake. And then we've got Zen, who isn't a member. He's never seen a lake before. He's literally turned up blind. He's done a bit of research online, but apart from that, he's literally taken his style of fishing. He's not listened to anyone. He's done his own thing. So later on in the piece, we will be speaking to those 2, seeing how they approach it, how all 3 of us have adopted different methods in our own fishing. We hadn't pre-booked any sort of swims, we haven't pre-baited any swims, we've just turned up out the blue. Obviously we booked it in advance, but anyone can do this, so we're going to run through how each person approaches the session. I think we are in with a decent chance, to be fair. The last set of lads that was on before us, I think they had 4 or 5 fish, and I've always done pretty well in the peg that I've got. So in a bit I will show you how I approach the certain peg that I'm in, and I do think we have a good chance of getting some fish on the bank. So, managed to bag one on the first morning already, got off to a great start. I only got down here last night late-ish, managed to get the rods out. Raked a little margin spot that was quite weedy, chucked a little bit of bait on it, didn't think much would happen. Seen a bit of fizzing, and then woke up this morning, it was like a jacuzzi. Me and Zen was just watching it, and within 20 minutes it bust off. Had this nice little lively mirror. Let's put a bit of water on it. Yeah, nice little dark mirror. Start the session, get off the mark nice and early. Still got 2 nights to go as well. And I lost another one actually just before this off my other rod. So looks like we're in for a good session. I think they're on the feed. There's been a few out last weekend as well, so definitely in for a few more I reckon. Just spinning round, show you the other side. Lovely little clean fish, nice and dark as well. Happy days.
So we're down at Stickney Brick Pit today. This is my new local water. We're here down filming for Subcarp, a little in-session piece with a couple of the lads. So I've recently joined the membership down here at Stickney. I've only really got down about 6-7 times, so I'm still quite early on into my campaign here. I've done a little well. I have done a few bites, you know, mainly tench, but you know, slowly getting through it. We're going to be down here today, hopefully trying to get one for the camera, and with a bit of luck, it'll be an absolute pearler, which this lake's known for having. So, unlike my past water, moving on to Stickney, it was a bit of a big change really. It's quite an intimate pool, but with crazy depth changes. The margins are, you know, predominantly quite shallow, and they're the real hot spots I find on this lake. But obviously for the depths of winter and also for your surface fishing, you know, there is depths of like 30+ foot in there. So obviously you can get them up in the water levels fairly well. You do see them in the top sunning themselves out there. So yeah, so it's a bit of a mixed bag in here. You can sort of approach it in many different ways. So I will be running through with you guys later on my tactics and how I'm approaching Stickney this session. So hopefully, mate, with a little bit of luck, we'll have one for the camera.
Weighing first. So first fish from Stickney, took this early hours of this morning, weighing 19 pound 8, one of the stockers I believe, from my left hand margin rod. Taken on an IQ rig with a 12mm wafter over around about 1.5 kilos of free offerings to go with it. Well chuffed with it, mega start to it. Hopefully there's a couple more to come in the next few hours and days we've got on here. Crocs on. Boom.
Just had my second one of the trip. Off the same spot as before, that little spot close in that I raked when I got here yesterday, so it's obviously doing the job. I put maybe about a key of bait out and literally lowered the rig out. It's only about half a wrap out. Foam popped up onto the surface, literally 10 seconds later, absolutely one turner, ripped off straight through the weed bed. But yeah man, absolute banger. Fully scaled, not weighed it yet, probably mid-double, but midday as well. It's proper hot today, so fishing half a wrap out in 2-3 foot of water, still getting bites, so happy days. Definitely time for a few more as well, 2 more nights to go as well. I'll spin them round, show you the other side. Just put a bit of water on. Just as nice on this side. Absolute banger. But yeah, got a little scale lifted there, so just put a bit of carp care kit on it as well. And that's when the Subcarp towel comes in handy. So obviously it's got a little pocket on there to keep your carp care kit in it. So.
So you join us here on the Stickney Brick Complex. There's 3 of us on at the minute. Taylor and Rob are both members. Currently I'm the only one who isn't a member. I'm going to talk through now how I approach waters that I haven't been to before. I see myself as a bit of flexible angler, so I like to keep on my feet all the time, whether that's stalking, surface fishing or a snagging margin fishing that you'll see me do. Started out yesterday at the opposite end of the lake from Rob and Taylor. Just because I saw fish down this end, and I thought they'd hold out here with the warm weather. So I set 2 rods up in the margins, put about a kilo and a half of boilie over at each spot. What I did do differently was fish different size baits and different flavoured baits on each spot as well, so I can then pick out what the fish actually want and what's working at that time. I'll then switch all my rods to that. So I had one last night around about 6 o'clock this morning. That was over there in that swim. I've now moved to this swim because I believe the spots that I was fishing, I should have had more fish. I was getting constant liners, think I had about an hour sleep. I've come in here because the line lay is much better, but I can still fish the same spots and I'll be fishing directly at them, not round corners. And it's a little bit deeper in this peg as well, so I can backlead, flying backleads, pin everything down at how I like to be, so the carp can come in, not know I'm here, hopefully have a good feed, pick my bait up, and I'll end up catching another couple. So the rigs I've been using while I'm here is IQD rigs and also the blowback rig. IQD rig, obviously it's a wafter rig or a wafter, depending on how you say it. I use that because I've got quite a hard drop on the bottom. Again, using the fluorocarbon, it keeps it nice and concealed. If they're not into wafters or wafters, I've then got the blowback rig, big fish, trusty old rig, nice and simple, and you can't really go wrong with it. I've been fishing that with 15mm bottom bait, which is what a freebie from what I've been feeding. The 2 that I was using on blowback rigs, I've used different coloured corn toppers again to see if any of them do work, and I can then change the other rigs to see if a certain colour is working depending on the situation. So I've just got on the new swim, it's mid-afternoon now. What I need to do is get the rods out in time for that feeding spell tonight. So hopefully I'll see you again with another fish on the bank.
So just a real quick update. Just reeled in my rods. It's about 7:30. I'm on my way to go meet the lads now over on Picnic Point. We're going to have ourselves a little bit of a barbecue. It's been a bit of a quiet day compared to this morning, but we're still feeling confident going into tonight. You know, they really are going to get down in these margins. We heard them last night, so we're still confident that we're going to pick them off. So without further ado, I'm going to go film my face, have a few laughs, and hopefully try and catch carp for you guys in the morning.
So obviously a little update today. We had them 2 fish, me and Zen, this morning. Sun got up, so Zen, as he does, got on his toes, moving around the lake, a little bread bun business and that. I kept my rods out on the deck. Midday, wasn't expecting a bite or anything, put a bit of bait in, top the spots up and that. Literally within 10 minutes, I had that fully scaled, which you saw earlier. Literally 10 minutes after that, my other rod went off, fishing to a snag, like quite long range, about 25 wraps. Hooked into that, rod hooked over. Quite a decent fish, I think. Literally just kited right, straight into a snag, managed to get it out, got it halfway in and the hook pulled out, so unfortunately I lost that. And then the rod that did the fully, I put that back out and got done on that as well, so it's been quite a quiet day after that. Slowed down a bit, but put some bait out for tonight, so hopefully we nick a couple more.
So, you've seen me stalking previously in the little bay, the old stock pond as I believe it's called. I noticed 6-7 fish in there just underneath the weed. You can't see them whatsoever. You've got to look out for the ripples, little movements in the weed, etc. Really noticed it there. I could get to them, but I was just a little bit short, and then after watching them for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, I noticed the patrol route that they took, and I plonked it on the patrol route on one of the reds as they was coming round, and literally it come up to the bread, sucked it straight away, and I was in at the same time that Rob was actually in on his little half a wrap fish, and we was both shouting at each other like, yeah, we're in, happy with this. My hook pulled straight away. Like, I had it on for 2-3 minutes, and then as it come towards me shorter, I thought it was 2 foot for out. Obviously, like I've said before, I don't know the lake So the stock pond, I believed it was 2 foot throughout, but in the middle it's actually quite a lot deeper, and there was a snag down there. I've had it on 2 or 3 minutes and it's just cut straight through my 15-pound duckling. I seen it was a nice, I know everyone says it, they're all big and all that when you lose it, but I actually saw it and it was a good size common for an ear as well, so I was devastated with that. But then as soon as that happened, come back round to Rob and he had one in the net, so I can't complain whatsoever. But we'll see what tonight brings.
It'll happen tonight,
again, mate. Yeah,
it'll happen tonight.
Something will happen tonight. One of us will get something. Draw on the feed.
Yeah.
It's good weather.
We'll have one in morning.
He'll be fishing the sacks in morning, 100%.
Yes. So here we go, my third one of the trip. A lovely little common. It is actually an original as well for the lake, a little stunted one that's never really grown, it's always been around this size. Same spot as before, that little half a wrap spot as well. Still doing bites. Yeah, happy with that. Original ticked off the list. Target fish done. The stunted common. Happy days, I'll spin him round, show you the other side. There you go. Little angry guy. Happy days, time for one more hopefully. Sweet. See ya.
So as I was saying earlier, we was going to run through the tactics I am using on this in-session piece. So as you can see here, I'm using my version of the spinner rig, or the Ronnie rig, however you want to really call it. So I use an end trap semi-stiff, and I strip back a little bit just by the hook for a little bit of movement and rigidity. The main reason why I'm using a semi-stiff braid is because I'm fishing fairly close to snags, so I want that coating on the braid just to make sure, you know, it's nice and safe. I'm coupling this with a 2.5 ounce fox lead. You know, it's only about 13 wraps to the far side to where I'm fishing to, so that's going to get me there nice and easily, and it's going to plumb me in, and I'm going to make sure I'm on that spot rock hard. So I'm coupling this with one of Mainline's quad toppers. I find this kicks it out really nice and slow, and this is also matching my my loose offerings, which is soaked cell and essential cell, so real yellow, real goodness. And the way I'm introducing it is really simple. I'm just walking over to the far margin and just introducing them 10 and 15 millers and getting them bang on the spot with a bit of precision, nice and quietly. This is my real like normal sort of standard go-to fishing. So without further ado guys, I'm gonna go get this on the spot and hopefully bring one to the camera for you.
Second fish of the trip. This is the one after you saw me move yesterday. I'm sure you've seen some drone footage of when I was putting the bait spoon out just up to the reeds. This was off that spot on the blowback rig with the 15mm bottom bait and the 12mm EF topper in the pink. Like I said, I've been trying a different colour to see which one seems to get the fish going. So far it's been the pink and the white. Weighing in at £13 as well. I'm sure it's going to be a little banger when it comes to the future. Imagine this one at £20. Cut the tennet round, show the other side, then we'll get a couple of stills and send it back to its own. There's the other side of it, so we've got a dorsal fin up for us. Get a couple of stills now and we'll get her home.
So I'm in a peg called Picnic Point for this session. It's pretty central to the lake. As you drive into the car park, it's pretty much straight away there. It is a double swim, so it's got a left and a right hand side. And obviously with there's only been 3 of us on, I've pretty much got the double swim to myself. So I've got 2 rods out the left hand side, 2 rods out the right hand side. And it's a peg that I've done quite a lot in before. When I've been on lake exclusive stuff, I do try and get in this swim because you can see a lot of the water. So firstly, my 2 rods out the right hand side, they're just to a known spot. There's a big snag, always holds fish, nice simple fishing. I'm just bait boating them across, just 2 rods tight on a spot. And you can walk around as well, sprinkle a bit of bait in by hand. So I'm just spreading a bit of bait over the area. 2 rods nice and tight there, just straightforward. There's nothing really special about them. But my 2 spots on the left hand side in particular, which is what I want to talk about, is something a little bit different. So as you approach the swim and you walk in, there's a massive bed of weed in front of the swim. And everyone that turns up, they do the same thing. They cast over the back of it, they cast at the holes in it and stuff like that, and it just doesn't really do that many fish. It's quite a neglected swim because it's either people don't like fishing in the weed or they don't like fishing over the back of it because they lose fish, but it doesn't do a lot of fish. But basically when I've been in here before, there's a perfect tree to climb and you can get a nice vantage point, and I've noticed them over the past couple of years. They always patrol real close in your margins, like pretty much under your rod tips. There's a big reed bed in front of the swim and they go from one reed bed to the other reed bed on the other side, but they're literally coming under your rod tips. So basically all I've done for this session and on previous sessions is I bring a weed rake with me and I just rake 2 of my own spots just real close in. I don't fish the big holes that are in the centre of the weed bed. I literally rake them under my rod tips. Obviously it creates a bit of disturbance, but it stirs the bottom up, gets the naturals in there, and I think the carp just literally home in straight in on it. So that's what I've done this session. I've rocked up 2 rods in here, raked the spot, and then another thing that I do is I fish quite a bit of particle, a bit of mixed sizes. I get in it with a corn, 2mm pellet, 4mm pellet, crumb boilie. There is quite a big stock of rudd and roach in here, and that's why a lot of people purely just go boilie only. Whereas I think if you get the roach mixing up the bottom, staring at the bottom, the carp get intrigued as well. So I think that approach is why I've been getting pretty quick bites as well. The lake owner, he also baits them himself on lake pellet and maize. So they see a lot of pellet, they see a lot of maize, and no one really uses it because they want to stay away from the silvers and stuff. So that's why I incorporate that into my baiting strategy. And I just think it gets a few quick bites. So yeah, that's how I've approached this session so far. So I've just been speaking about my spot and my baiting approach, and my little half a wrap spot down in this margin is absolutely bust off. Seen a few fish fizzing and some reeds knocking as I was doing that last piece of the camera. I literally just said it's a matter of time before this belts off, and it's one of the fish that I want as well. There's 2 ghosties in here I believe, and I was looking at photos of them yesterday. They're not everyone's cup of tea, but proper, really nice fish. Literally caught just off the end of these lily pads here. Oh yes, get him. Mate, target fish that. That is one I wanted for ages as well. Well happy with that. Buzzing. Mate, I'm shaking. That was intense, that. So I've just landed that fish, got it in the net, I've taken the hook out in the net, literally just going to slip it in the retainer because my spot is literally 6 foot just out there and there's already fish fizzing on the spot already. Just chucked a little bit of bait out, reeds are knocking, just going to safely retain this, get the rod back on the spot and hopefully nick another bite. Just check his fins are alright. Both sides, yeah, looks fine. Right. So as you just saw, just had my 4th fish of the session, same spot again, absolutely rocking now. Just finished that last piece to camera and that margin spot belted off. One of 2 commons in the lake, it is the smaller one but still an absolute beast of a fish. One that I did want as well. Look at that, what a fish that is, mate. Not everyone's cup of tea, but absolutely buzzing, like genuinely buzzing with this. It's proper fish, this. Mate, what a fish. Half a wrap out. Class, still time for another as well. Hopefully get the bigger one, mid-20 the other one as well, that'd be nice. But yeah, I'll spin you around, show you the other side, it's just as nice down here. Yeah, so as I said earlier, that margin spot doing the bites, that's the one that I raked when I got here. Put a bit of particle down, a bit of corn, some lake pellet, obviously trigger boilies that I use, and then I've had this on, well, I've had all the fish on, trimmed down 12mm yellow pineapple pop-ups, just fished on multi-rigs, literally just off the edge of the weed bed. But yeah, banging, buzzing with that. Yeah man, get her back.
So you've just joined me now, I've come stalking for a couple of hours. The swim that I was in yesterday, it's seen with a bait pull, I've actually moved swim now. I've come into a summer bay, I've set up there, pre-baited that, clipped the rods up. While I'm letting that settle again, I'm being active on my feet, and I've just popped into the old stock pond. It's covered in weed, sun shining on it. Means one thing, there's going to be carp down here. So I've got my surface rod with me, surfacing freeline bred. I've already had one down here, a little mirror. It's actually the first time it's been caught as well, so it's a homegrown one, so that's a special little catch, even though it was only £7 or £8. But we'll see if we can get another one now off the top down here, because there's a couple milling between the weed. So my bread setup that I'm fishing today is freeline bread, one £15 the Gardner floater line, and then a size 4 wide hook up. Many people think this is quite big, but how I attach the bread, a good mate of mine showed me it, and it stands out massively to the carp. It's 10 times easier hooking potential, and you can put it on top of weed, which I'm fishing on top of now, and the hook won't get buried in anything. So how I do it, I put the hook in the middle of the bread with a line pointing out, and then I fold it over there and create at the bottom. I pinch it really tight, so then when this goes into the water, it weighs the bread down. So the bread and the hook are actually sitting out of the water. So when the carp comes up, it sucks it. All you have to do is strike. Yeah. And so far on this session, I've lost one and I've hooked one, and that's been both carp straight away. So it does work. Hooking potential on it is absolutely incredible. Another tip that I do before I cast out, if I'm freelining it, I'll just dip the bread in the water either side, and that just gets a little bit of extra weight on. So when I'm underarm flicking it, I can get an extra 10 to 15 yards on that. Right now, I'm going to dip it in the water, make sure it's sitting right, and then we'll get on to hopefully catching another carp. So I've spent 30 minutes down here. Them 3 carp that I saw early on have all moved out now. I think once you get one out of here in the day, they don't really come back in. Earlier on when I had that one, there was 10-15 carp in here all sunbathing. I think as soon as it's so little and intimate, you hook one, they just spook off and they aren't really confident coming in. But I'll go back to my swim, get the rods out for the night, and then I'll be back in here about 5:30 in the morning again, trying to get another one.
So my spot that I've been getting all the bites off is just the other side of this reed bed. Obviously I said earlier there's 2 sides to the point. So I'm just thinking, the fish are in them reeds, I'm getting bites on that side. I'm going to try and maximise my chances by moving one of my rods that was in the right hand side to the opposite side of the reeds. So just going out in the boat at the minute because it's quite weedy on this side. I'm literally just going to try and find a little hole in the weed and just drop the lead straight on it and trickle the bait straight over the edge. See what I can find, because I've never actually fished this side of the reeds before. But there's definitely fish about. So basically off the front of the reeds, just a gravel bar comes straight off the front of the reeds and then turns right. So at the minute, I'd say that's what, about 5 foot in depth just off the side of the weed. And it literally, that just gradually slopes off to like 30 foot, but it's absolutely solid there. Literally right on the edge of the weed. Just going to lower the rig on that, I think, and just trickle a bit of bait over the edge of the boat. So obviously I just found that little spot down there off the side of the weed, rock hard. So I'm just going to clip my rig on. I'm literally just going to lower it off the edge of the boat, hand place some bait over the top and then row it back to the bank, and that's set for the night, I think. Hopefully that'll intercept them coming into the reeds as well on the opposite side to where I've been catching them. So I can now maybe try and pick them up on both sides of the reed bed. Oh yeah, that's staying there. That's obviously the bait mix that I made up earlier. Just going to put a nice little spread along the edge of the weed bed. Nice little line. Get them grubbering about. I think that'll do, hopefully. Try and nick a bite off that spot tonight. Sweet, happy days. Let's go back.
So just a real quick update from me. The last 24 hours down here has been quite hectic for me. After the barbecue last night, obviously I got back down and got the rods out, and yeah, unfortunately leading into early this morning I lost one. It picked up my other rod while I was fishing over to the far margin, so unfortunately that didn't go well for me. So I got up nice and early, started having a look around the lake, and I see a couple of spots. And I was really eyeing up a move, but sort of chatting with the lads earlier and sort of realising the wind change, what had occurred, it was the fact that, you know, the wind was really pushing down into this corner now, and you know, there's a lot of free water down here, and with having that bite last night, I still feel confident. So I've got a rod back out in the money now. I've just got to sort out my other rod. I'm going to downsize to 2 now because yeah, it's just too much fishing free in here, and I want to try and eradicate getting my other lines picked up. So I'm just going to simplify it, fish 2 rods in here, and hopefully later on that will bring the goods. So as I mentioned, with the rod what I've got out at the moment, quite nicely, Rob across the other side of the bank, he offered to lend me his boat skills because the wind was getting up earlier, but you know, and I was struggling. As I said, it's been a bit hectic. I was, you know, put a couple rigs in the tree, so I had to go out and go retrieve them. So he offered his boat skills for me, and we went out there and got it hand placed, chucked a little bait over the top, so feeling like uber confident. It eradicated any messing around with the wind. I know it's pretty flat calm now, but you know, we'd made the agreement, so we was going ahead with it to feel extra confident for tonight. So So yeah, all that being said, obviously it's down to the carp gods, but hopefully they shine down on me for all the misery they've put me through these past couple of days. So yeah, fingers crossed I'll have a belter for you guys in the morning or leading into late afternoon. So yeah, nice one guys.
So you join me, final morning of the in-session piece for Subcarp. I talked yesterday how I was moving swim because I'd seen a bigger fish showing this little bit in the mornings. Well, it's kind of worked. So last night, 1:30, my right hand rod has gone off. My alarm hasn't gone off, I've been asleep, and I've woke up to a ticking noise, if that makes sense. My reel is fully locked up, and it took me a couple of minutes to realise, but the bite alarm battery's actually gone dead. So being locked up, I ain't had the screaming run that I'd usually get, or that anyone would usually get, but it's just started ticking off. I realised straight away I've had to jump in the water, start winding, walking back to the bank, got it away from the snag, happy. It's then bolted to the left, gone in the lilies, got out the water, I'm up on the bank playing it, got it out the lilies. When I've got it out the lilies, there's then an opening into the bay. It zipped through the opening, out into open water. Like, yeah, happy, the arb pit's done now. 15, 20 yards down the edge into the reeds, it's 1:30 at night, pitch black with a landing net prodding about, silt up to God knows where on my body. Playing it for a good 10 minutes, getting close in, just bolting, going again. Rob could hear me on the opposite bank. Went round the corner, just about to shout to Rob, "Rob, bring me the boat." Bang, the hook pulls. Could not believe it. All the hard work I've put in front of the bigger fish, and you know, it was, we'll never know, but where they plod, you know, that bang, 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 take a little bit off your reel, bang, bang, bang. Like none of the fish I've had so far, any of the takes I've had in here as well. What was on the end, I'll never know, but I'll take the positives out of it. I've never fished it before. Landed 3 fish, lost 2. Obviously my tactics are working, the bait's working, the way I'm applying it and applying myself around the lake's working as well. So I'm going to give it till 10 o'clock, pack the gear up, and then we'll get away. I'm not going to stay for the stalking or out like that because they've got to be off by 12 o'clock. I don't really seem to get into that stock pond where I've been getting them on top feeding till around 2 or 3 in the afternoon. So finish my brew, give it another hour, start slowly packing away, but there's always time.
So here we are, we've reached the final morning of this little in-session piece down here at Stickney Brick Pit. As you can see, no carp as of yet. Unfortunately, it's been one of them sort of nightmare sessions for me from the get-go, really. But to be honest, we all get them, so it's one of them. But you know, there was a few carp in here last night, and I have seen one recently show over the spot. So we've got a couple of hours left until we've got to pack down. So as you can see, I'm leaving the rods in right till the death, because you know I might still get lucky. But moving forward, this is going to be my my new local water. So you know, it's been really good to get down here and watch how some of the other lads have approached it, because obviously, you know, these guys have got off the mark pretty quickly. and just sort of going to take what I've seen from their angling and what I sort of do, and carry on getting some time down here and, you know, learning and adapting to this new water, you know. There's definitely bangers in here to be caught, so it's got to be done. You know, you can see from Robin's End themselves, you know, some real rare ones to the bank, so it's always nice to have. So yeah, so hopefully I can bring one right at the death, but if not, I'm sure you guys will see me at, on another film somewhere. So yeah.
Right, so you're joining us at the end of the session now. Just managed to nick this one as we was packing away. I've probably got about 20 minutes left now. Had a great session. Probably had, what, 8 or 9 fish, I think. Obviously, I know we've not had any of the bigger ones that are in here. I think we've maybe lost a couple. I know Zen lost a good one last night. Tay lost one the night before that as well. So we've had our chances, but the fish we've caught as well have also been quite rare visitors to the bank. So that ghosty I had, that's not been out for 2 years. The little fully that Zen had off the top the day before yesterday, that was its first ever capture. Lake owner had never even seen it before. And also the other little scaly that he had off the bottom using his baiting pole, that's only been caught twice before, and that's once by myself and once by Zen. So yeah, I think out of like the 8 fish we've had, I think 6 of them quite rare visits to the bank. So we've done quite well, I think. And obviously conditions haven't been the best. But yeah, so that's a little video on how to approach a lake exclusive from obviously 3 different mindsets and 3 different approaches. I hope you've all taken something from this. We've all given you little tips and stuff. So I hope you can use that in your own fishing going forward. And yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers, boys.
Bread cake.
Bread cake.
Yeah, man.
Mega.
It's been a right session.
Have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.